the pitch?
I don't want this to be on camera, but I will tell you.
Welcome to the Joey Show. I'm Joey Avery. Folks, we have a hell of an episode for you today. Our guest today is David Bakhtiari. We get into some incredible things, some insider, the life of an NFL player, some Aaron Rodgers stories, maybe even some conspiracies. It's a hell of a conversation with David, who has always been just a huge supporter of mine. I mean, he was sharing my videos when I was making sports betting picks at like 3,000 followers, okay? And there was no way to go viral on Instagram at that time except for when he would share my videos. So he has always been a huge help. I've gone out to Lambeau. He piled a bunch of offensive linemen in a party bus and brought them out to my show in Appleton, Wisconsin. So the guy has always been a believer when I didn't have as many as I do now. So always love and support to the great David Bakhtiari, one of the best to ever play on the offensive line in the NFL. Yeah, I said it. But folks, yes, I am here in Nashville and sat down with David 2 nights ago, and then yesterday all day, competed in the Barstool Bussin' with the Boys Beer Olympics, and boy did we compete. Folks, yes. Did we make it all the way to the final round? Yes. Did it end in heartbreak? Yes. Is that why I'm wearing my Edmonton Oilers-themed black dog shirt from a bar in Edmonton? Because I feel a deep sense of empathy and sympathy to the people of Edmonton right now, because I feel like David and I were the more talented team. That sort of Draisaitl, Connor McDavid-like pair of absolute figures that mean a lot to the game that just couldn't quite get it done at the end. It will be fun for you guys to watch that. There are some spicy takes. Beers were had. Plays were made. I'm lying down because I can barely feel my left side because I dove into the shallow end of a pool trying to rescue a beer ball with my phone in my pocket, my shoes on. Why? Because I'm a goddamn competitor. And that's what we do out here. But you take your wins. You take your L's. We fought. We battled. We had a hell of a time. And you'll be seeing more, I'm sure, content roll out of that day. Quite a group of people there. But without further ado, I'm gonna hop into the interview with David. But I do want to let you know you got to stick around to the end, because tonight is debate night. Trump versus Biden. The battle of the juggernauts. The Who Won't Die Olympics is tonight, folks, on release day this Thursday, and we have a Joey Show exclusive for you. I sent a correspondent, comedian out of D.C., Matt Chrzanowski, who helps out with the show. I sent him to the steps of the White House for some live reporting, okay, and to give custom-made betting odds only here at the Joey Show, a custom betting guide to tonight's debate. You will not want to miss that, but without further ado, here's the interview with David Bakhtiari.
I remember talking with you in it was after you came to some show in L.A., kind of like a random shitty like Monday night show.
Yeah.
Like a random show. And I was asking you after.
Studio City, right?
Yeah. And I was asking you after, I was like, what do you want to do after football? Obviously, we're not in after football yet because you're going to keep playing. But you do have more personality, I would say, than the average football player.
Yeah.
So I was like, do you want to do something in media? And you very specifically at that time said no.
Yeah, I know.
You said, you were like, think about football. You're like, I've been in front of camera forever, and I might be done with it. But I wonder if you're looking at it ending at some point, if you still feel that way, because it's kind of nice to have the shine.
That light at the end of the tunnel is really bright now. It's getting very close. Before I was just like, yeah, I can say whatever I want because it's still out there. Now it's like, basically, like I'm like, damn, I can almost knock on this fucking door at this point.
What does that feel like?
I mean, there's a lot of emotions. It's when you say what does it feel like, I can't just say one. There's a lot. Happiness, anxiety, depression, gratitude. It really depends on what angle I want to look at it, and that's I think it's just very dynamic. Like I'm so grateful for my career; it's changed my life. I mean, this is pretty.
This is not bad.
This isn't bad.
This is not bad.
So, from that perspective, and I love playing football. I love the schedule. I love, the physical test that it would put you through. So sometimes I just love just like hitting people. I get paid to hit people for a living, and like no one gets mad at me for it. Like, you know, like you can't go in the real world and do that. You can't go in the real
Some
world.
players have tried.
Yeah, exactly. And we see how that turns out. Then they realize like, oh, there's a thing called the law.
Yeah, that doesn't really work.
Yeah. And then they go, there's a thing called like a warrant if I don't show up. Like after I do something wrong, I have to go to a judge. Like, even
Do
if
you
I don't
think
show
guys
up.
struggle with that when they're like, I've been rewarded for physically overpowering people my whole life, and then you like go into a society and people are like, dude, no, you can't just do that, even though it's the one thing that you've been heralded and accoladed for your entire life.
I think it's definitely a dynamic that doesn't get talked about enough, because I can totally see how guys can get stuck in that thought. Like, you should never forget like your human element side, but when you're just like these freaking nature beasts that just like every single day for, you know, potentially at least a decade or decades of your life, you're just told like, finish the line, like beat his ass, kill him, finish him. Like you hear that repetition, you think that like, your brain is also like it's kind of like a computer like esque, and like if you're programming it every time to hear that same thing, like you can see where if your back's against the wall, or if like your instincts need to kick on, like you go to what you know and what you've been basically told to do for so long.
Right.
Like if I tell you every day to slap yourself, after 12 years and doing it so many times, you may just start slapping yourself. You may just start just doing it. Yeah, that's what you do. So I can see that side, but at the end of the day, like, you're also an adult. You should know like right from wrong. You know what not to do. So
yeah,
I don't think that side like at least
will it be hard to like live life not getting to get that energy out? Like, what do you think you'll do? I feel like guys treat it in different ways. Like there's usually the athlete in their post playing career tends to either get really fat or like crazy jacked.
Oh, I'm crazy jacked.
You're gonna go crazy jacked?
I haven't had a six pack. Always wanted one. I've always
it's
like
harder than
cared
you think
about health.
when you're not playing full time.
I'll settle for a 4-pack.
I'd settle for a 4-pack. The demands of my job are to get fat
IPA
all the
beers.
Time. Yeah.
Am I right? No. I've just always wanted to be skinny. I've always been into health. It's something that like I'll always like work out. Like I'll be the dude when I transition out and like whatever my next job is. Like I like waking up at like 5 a.m. I'll do my workout, get my coffee, read, you know, Twitter for basically AKA my newspaper, or X, whatever you want to call it, and then, you know, feed the kids a little bit if I need to take them to school, and then go start my day for work. Like that's how I envision myself.
That was almost all healthy habits, and then you threw in reading Twitter.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like
that's
where I get my news.
Is it?
Or if I, you know, just want to get a little extra motivation, I just go to my mentions and just see you, and, you know, hey, this is my daily tweet, David. Don't forget to kill yourself. I'm like, that's what I needed. Thank you.
Did you have those dedicated guys?
No, I've always had some funny shit. Like when I hear people like complain or like how mean people are on social media, I'm like, you could just not get on social media.
Right.
One, or two, like you could just remember that they're probably telling you that because their life kind of sucks too. So,
right.
Like misery loves company.
It does. I am fascinated in this, and it's come up on a few episodes of this because I think comedians are now starting to like have the same thing because it's so big. You start getting treated like an athlete a little bit. But like, how do you reconcile that difference between these are the people that like if you like running out on a field and having people screaming and you like making millions of dollars, it's all those people. But then it's the same people that are sitting there reminding you to kill yourself every fucking day on Twitter.
I mean, how much does it cost? Like, how much is it worth for you to have someone say, like, go kill yourself?
Right.
For me, I feel like my number's been met. So,
so good.
I'm okay with it.
So
I'm okay with it.
You charge that to the game.
Yeah, I charge to the
that.
game. I mean, hey, it's just words. I mean, I think for me, I was a chubbier kid when I was younger, so I was able to understand, like, sticks and stones may break your bones, but words will never hurt you.
Yeah.
Like, you can say what. Again, if my wife is, like, chopping me down, like, that's going to hurt.
Yeah.
If my friends and family are saying something, like, I'm going to understand that. But if there's some random person just being like, you fucking suck, or like, I hate you, you're the worst thing to ever happen to Wisconsin, I'd be like, you must have a really bad day.
It's a tough.
But you know, I'll take that. Great. Does that make
Yeah.
you feel better? Cool. Like, I've always been the person like, I'm never going to get in a fight in the bar. Like,
Yeah.
You're not going to piss me off that much, because even if I do entertain you, you win. That's all you want.
There just is such a toxic element to even being because like I'm a sports fan, right? But like I'm familiar with even like I'm watching my team, like what the fuck is wrong with this guy? but like also knowing that we have no idea how hard it is to actually play the game.
Yeah,
I think most football fans actually don't even know like 2 formations.
Yeah, I mean, I would say most football players probably don't know.
What do you mean by
formations. That? I mean, I'll say this, for example. Most linemen, like, we line up in the same place every time. I would love to bet how many rookies actually know more than 2 formations.
Really?
Offensive, like there's certain I have no problem in this. I'm sitting in a huddle. All I hear is womp, 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 3-jet, womp, womp, womp on Monday. Okay, cool.
Right. And so you're
Like,
just like,
stack,
I have to pay attention to this person. Yeah.
Batch right to Z left, F counter. I'm like, I don't care. That doesn't change anything with my life. 300 jet, Y drag, X kangaroo. I'm like, that doesn't mean anything to me.
Yeah.
Like, there's a couple buzzwords, like, as I got older, like, I understood based on, then this is what your coach like teach you when you actually pay attention to them. Like, certain formations based on certain protections can lead to certain blitzes. So you look out for those. I'm like, okay, so I understand certain, like, bunches or, like, Jody just outside defensive end splits and things like that. And then certain route combinations, I know, like, hey, this quarterback's going to get the ball out a little bit quicker. I can maybe change up what I want to do. Or I hear the dreaded, like, train, or what is the other one? Deep, which basically means, like, hold on to your fucking ass because this is either going to be a touchdown or you're going to give a sack.
Idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, quarterbacks can hang on the ball for a little bit. And I'm like, damn. So.
Oh, that's interesting. So you think, because I always wondered if football is way more complex than people think, because it's like, a lot of people are just watching it. The super casual fan just knows their family member always wears a Cowboys shirt, so we see it on Sunday and we just watch the team go up and down. And then there's the people who nerd out over, like, oh my God, you got to understand this scheme, and if this guy's doing this and that. And
they
like,
buy the all 22 like video, so they can see like the end zone and the side.
Like this who,
God.
And I'm like, I always thought, I was like, oh, maybe they're just geniuses, and I'm not able to access this level of football, scholarliness that you have to know. But you're saying for the average player, you're just like, I know my few things that I need to do. It's very simple once I know that.
When I first got in the league, my understanding of my playbook was run or pass, left or right. That's it. I knew only what I needed to know, and that was it, because there's so many other things happening. I'm like, this is just too much. Then every year I started like opening up my vision more and more, and it actually helped me get better and better. So obviously I think the more you know, the better you'll be. But there's probably some of your favorite football players don't even know their playbook. Yeah. I'll be flat out honest. I know certain guys that just like, I'm just gonna do what I want to do.
That is crazy.
I mean, like, again, certain positions.
You have to be in that position. You have to be that athletically gifted that a team can, because everyone knows.
I'm not going to out this quarterback receiver, or I'll say pass catcher duo. Mm-hmm. But what I have heard is that there's the play, and then these two basically, because he understands defenses so well, he's like, I'm going to do whatever I want because I know the quarterback understands where the soft spots are in this coverage when the snap happens, and because he used to play quarterback, he would understand too, so he's going to go put his route where he's going to be open.
Wow.
Or where he does have leverage. So he pretty much has free reign where, like, almost like the plays are designed where it's like, it's almost like ISO.
Yeah.
What it's kind of like in basketball. It's like everyone get the hell out of the paint.
And just let them cook.
And just let these two guys cook.
That's crazy. What team?
No, I can't say I would feel bad kind of outing these guys. But, I mean, like, I would even say for us, like, Aaron, like, there were times like Aaron and Jordy, Aaron and Randall, Aaron and Devontae, like, we would have plays, and then based on certain coverage or something, he'd look over to him and give him, it would either be like a little hand signal or even just, like, they'd talk about it all in the week where they would just look at each other and be like, you see what I see? And then he'd give him the nod back, yeah. And then they both knew, based on what the rotation was and, like, what type of coverage they were playing, like, okay, we know we're going to convert to this. So even though I just said this in the huddle, like, you know what I'm thinking, right?
That is sick.
So there is a definite other element. Like, it's not just like idiots, but they're 100%.
There are guys that are like,
oh my God, it's insane. Like, there's guys like, I'm like, dude, you can't count.
Yeah.
Like, it's that bad.
That's crazy. I assumed at the pro level they would have weeded that out. Like, he just wouldn't be possible to survive. But you're saying if you're enough of a freak and you figure out your 100%. Few things, it's just fine.
That's how fucking.
It's
like,
more that.
That's how physically dominating some of these guys are. Where it's like, they've been able
There's no
to.
guys my size who also can't count in the NFL.
There's some dudes that their bronze is so. It's like so far ahead that they've never had to use their brain. And that's what I've seen and experienced. Like that, to give you an example, brains over bronze. Like I've seen guys bronze so physically imposing that like they've never even had to use their brain. So like when I see them talking like in like meetings or I'm looking at them, like you can see idiot on their face.
Yeah,
like they're looking at you and they're like, it's just like out of the cartoons. Like it goes in one ear and you're seeing like come out the other. I'm like, God.
Well, I can't tell if it's like kind of an act. I'm obviously a huge 49ers fan, but like when I see Bosa talk, I'm like, I don't know if a lot's going on.
No, he's just a stoner, dude. No,
Yeah.
I do think he is. I'm thinking and I'm assuming he is actually smart.
But he
or
just
smarter.
has like an
he's just a fucking stoner
as a person.
No, he just smokes a shit ton of weed.
Gonna go sack some quarterbacks.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
But he's got the brawn for days. He wouldn't need brains if he didn't.
Hey, he's got both.
Yeah.
That's what makes him so freaking good. But
Yeah.
he's got both of those, and he makes him so good. That's why he can also just.
Well, Gronk kind of admitted. I think it was on the Brady roast. Did you watch that?
I did watch some of it. Yeah, I thought it was awesome.
The Gronk basically admitted to like, there were a lot of times where like it would just be like, I don't know what fucking play that was, but I scored a touchdown.
Yeah, that's another guy right there. Like he's one of the few. Like he doesn't really need to know. I mean, you still gotta like go guard him. And Tom's like, well, it's gonna be kind of easy to find like a 6'7", 6'8" guy wearing 87,
trundling down the
just
field.
being like a Neanderthal.
Yeah.
Like in between the ashes, like kind of easy to see him.
You said when you think about it ending, you're like both happiness and depression. What's the happy side of it?
I am not going to be in physical agony and pain anymore.
Yeah.
Or not as much.
It does seem. I remember when I one of the times that I came out to Green Bay and I was asking you what like the cycle of a week was. And you said something to the effect of like, on Sunday I get hit by a truck. On Monday and Tuesday it feels like I get hit by a truck.
Yeah.
By like, what day was it where you're like, oh, I feel okay again?
So, yeah, like Sunday you're pretty much electing to get into a bunch of car accidents.
Yep.
Like for 3 hours. And then Monday, Tuesday sucks. Wednesday you finally start feeling a little better.
When you say it sucks, is it's like, what does it feel like? Is it just your whole body is just an ache?
Like more than that, but if like that's what I can use to describe to someone, yeah. Like I think the best way that someone understands, like imagine getting in a car accident, like having whiplash and soreness like in your joints. But
so
like
it's like your neck and your hands and your knee, it just everything.
Yeah, but like for like 3 hours. So that's what I said. Like I can't just say one car crash. Like you're getting multiple. Like I see like the best part after games, like like just like any given, like not even against Sunday. That'd be a bad example because that wasn't really like love of football and
right.
What's a good like feel good like Friday Night Lights?
Yeah.
So everyone gets down and you pray.
Yeah.
So after games we do it too, and the best part is you just hear like let's get down on a knee and pray. That's what Coach always says, and you hear everyone go. It's like the whole room guaranteed could say it for all 30 teams. You hear this, like everyone's just like moaning like old men dropping down.
It's like a fucking Pornhub
Oh
video.
no, it is like, dude, because it even just kneeling down or just dropping down to the ground is so like you're just hurting, and like that's immediately and you'd think that like your adrenaline's already cooking. So once it wears off Monday and Tuesday, then like all the soreness starts setting in. Like you don't even realize what you like my neck. I'm like, my neck was fine. Like now I woke up Tuesday and like I'm stuck like this right now. I have no idea. It just
God.
Yeah. So I'm like, that's what I'm saying. Multiple car accidents. You get to about Wednesday, it starts kind of wearing off a little bit. Thursday, like I feel pretty good, and then that's when they give you like the hardest practice of the day. So then I'm like, okay, now I'm like,
it hurts again.
I'm like back to like square 3. So I'm not down to square 1. I'm like square 3 again. And then Friday, Saturday, I'm like, okay, I actually feel decently well. And then it's like, okay, I think I've gotten close to recovering, and then bam, you just destroy yourself again, and then just do that. That's why like adding these extra games is like very like it's a big topic I think for athletes because like you
say it's about
much.
player safety, but it's not.
No.
I don't think they should add any more games, but they should push the season back 1 week so that Super Bowl is on President's Day and everyone gets Monday off.
So here's a hot take. I am for adding another game.
Okay.
But because I know that the NFL wants to do it. So I say at this point we need to stop playing like checkers and start playing chess with them.
Yeah.
So give them the 18th game. They want it. They want to probably get to 20.
When you guys should make more money off that, right?
So everyone does.
Right.
That's where I'm like, this is a benefit. But now my accountant's like, okay, like if you're the owner's like, if you say, David, I want an 18th game, I'm like, okay. I say, okay, and you're going to be like, what's the catch, Dave? I'd say, move 10-minute quarters. So 10-minute quarters, we go from 60 to 40. I think I calculated it out like per minute on a season. You're like technically go down to like, what is it? You actually go underneath 16 games. I think it's like 13. No, it's not. It's probably like 14 or 15 games you end up playing. Maybe it is 13. 13, 14, 15 games you end up playing, but you're actually playing 18.
Yeah.
So we're making more money. We're wearing down our bodies less in the game because they're shorter time, and then that also means each possession means more, which means more situational football, which means more each play matters more.
Yeah.
Which means probably coaches and everyone's going to put in more like trickery plays, and like it's just even like right now coaches are already like obsessed with like, damn, we have like 50 to 75 plays in a game. Like imagine if you had 37 to 55.
Right.
Like
you'd have to be,
and everything would
counts.
be so dialed in even more because of like, just like I said, every play even means even more. So that would be my negotiation. A little.
Do you think that they would ever consider something like that?
I don't care. That's for you. That's
this
for you
is
to
my
figure
negotiation.
out. I sit there. I'm like, you want 18th game? I'll be like, done. 10-minute quarters, and then they're like, well, what? I'm like,
what does that do for like 100-yard receiving game? Like, does it change things and all that shit?
Look what they just did at another game.
Right.
Like now we have
all
all
the statistics.
Yeah. Now all these like records. Like we have records before that were like this was done in like a 14-game season, 13 games. It's like we don't even talk about that. It's like the 16-game season has been there for so long. It probably
would be better for America to shorten the games because you would just have a more productive citizenry.
Yeah.
If people just spent just a tiny bit less
or
time.
Every beer every time they drank meant that much more.
So they treated
just like in the football.
We only get 6 beers a game, fellas. We gotta fucking suck these down.
Or it's just like they're out with the beer, more hard alcohol, because it's like we got to get there sooner now because every drink means that much more. So,
are you capable? Have you been able to like get into the fan experience at all? Like going back to like a Colorado game, or have you ever gotten to like tailgate and see what it looks like from that side? Or is that just going to be a post-football thing for you?
Probably gonna have to be post-football. I haven't really done like the fan thing. Like I mean, going to shows, I feel like a fan. Like for like comedy shows, like I fucking love that. But like tailgating, doing all, I just
the funny thing is with a comedy show, I feel like I am also getting kind of the fan experience. Like, if it's my show, obviously it's not the same thing. Like, I'm not pre-gaming a show or whatever. But at my show, like, I'll have a couple drinks. I'll hang out. I'll go out after.
That's so sick.
I'm on stage laughing and having just as much fun as everybody. So it's a little bit less intense, the version that I have to do. But you do start, when you do anything, you just start seeing it differently. Like, if I see a comedy show, I'm not just like, oh, my God, that was so good. I'm like, this stuff was good. That stuff not as much.
Yeah, like breaking it down.
Talking about this, and I'm capable of having the fan experience. I think certainly more than probably you are, given the demands of your particular entertainment pursuit. But the fan experience is so like, dude. When I first went to Lambeau, the first time I went out with my buddy Doug, and we saw you guys play the Bears, but we got there like 2 hours early. And just went and we're just walking around the tailgate.
You're going from tailgate to tailgate?
People were giving us shot skis and we're fucking ripping cheese curds.
Everyone's really nice in Green Bay too, so you can pretty much, I've heard from Pop to like all different tailgates, and everyone's very welcoming.
They were lovely, and it wasn't like they knew that I was connected to you at all. We were just random people, and they're like, "You never been to Lambeau? Oh my God!"
Yeah. We do have arguably like the nicest fans. Like,
well, it's crazy too because it felt like traveling to a different country, but that country was also the most American thing I'd ever seen.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, wait, we're in a college town going to an NFL game, and it seems to be the only thing of note that's going on within a several 100-mile radius.
Yes, dude.
Like, and so it is hard to replicate that sort of experience.
Yeah, Lambeau's very unique. Green Bay is very unique. It's one of a kind. I mean, again, I've heard of it. I haven't really done any tailgating. I think maybe like when I'm like retired and removed enough from the game, I might build back the fandom. But like right now, it's pretty tough for me to like be a fan. Like I'm a fan of. I'll always love Green Bay. Always be a fan of Green Bay. Always be rooting for them deep down. But like for me, like it's more like certain players. I always root for them to do well. Like I always root for like my buddy Aaron to do well, like with the Jets. You know, Tay to do well with the Raiders. You know, even when I'm playing like a buddy, I'm like, I hope you guys lose, but I hope you do well. Like,
right.
and it's kind of fucked up to say, but I'm like, I hope he does well enough, but not too good to where you like beat us, but just enough for like professionals know this. Like, there's certain games like you lose, but you know you played really good.
Yeah. And you're like,
it's funny.
You're doing the press conference like, it's a real tough one out there, but you know we gave it our all.
It's tough because like I had like a mentor guy before me, and he kind of always like kind of gave me the idea. He goes, because I'd never like thought about it before, but when a guy's been around the block so many times, like they just have like wisdom. And he's like, you ever play a really good game but you lose? I'm like, yeah, of course. Like this happened a couple days ago. How'd you feel? I'm like, yeah, it kind of sucks. Like, yeah. So would you rather lose a game or play like shit and you guys win? Ooh. And then it kind of dawned on me. I'm like, well, if I play like shit and we win, and I keep playing like shit but we keep winning, yeah, team does well, but you'll probably get cut at some point.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You're not part of the team
but
at some
if
point.
your team fucking sucks, but you're doing really well.
Yeah.
You see how the job gets really kind of like skewed, where it's like you want your team to win, and you playing well puts you in a position for your team to win. So it's like, oh, it's a win-win. But if your team loses and you play well, you know, you like they may fire everyone else, but you know you're staying around. Like you're not the problem. So it was like
that's the funniest thing about
it's such a weird fucking dynamic. Like when you think about it like that. Like now I've like in my mind I've always been like, hey, like I'm gonna take care of what I take care of. I'm gonna do what I can. Like it does make losses a little bit easier to stomach when you play well. But like for me, I've always said this, like when it comes to playoffs, like I could play. I'll take every single like of everyone's worst play. Just give it to me. If we win, great, because like, playoffs like wouldn't matter. I'm sure my mentor told me this. I'm sure his mind changes when it comes to playoffs because everyone's like, just give me the fucking ring. Everyone wants to win, but in the regular season, that's kind of where like you make your money. That's like the job thing, and everyone's like, you want to play well.
Is there an extra when you go to playoffs? Is it just basically a completely different game? Where it's just everything is so much like obviously
the
all
soreness
matters because everything's on tape all year. You're gonna get graded on everything. Like there are no secrets in the league, but playoffs just seems like people are like, I'll die today. Yeah. It's like a UFC fight. People are like, I'm ready to fucking die.
Yeah, that's why I love playoffs. That's why I think trying to make regular season games more. Every play or every game means more.
Yeah,
would be better. Every minute would mean more because once you get to the playoffs,
like what college football used to be.
Yeah, exactly. Because like playoffs, like you kind of forget about your soreness. You kind of get a revitalization of energy. That's when all the old dogs, all the old veterans, like they got a little extra pep in their step.
A little younger.
They start playing a little younger. You see it because like it'll be like mid-season. Even me, I'm like, man, I'm stiffer than a wedding dick walking around. Like it's just everything's like stiff and achy, and then all of a sudden like you hit the regular season, it's like, God, I feel like I'm in year 3 right now. I'm kind of hopping around a little bit, a little extra juice. It just feels good because you're like, it's one and done, dude. So
it's live for the moment.
It means so much. So I love playoff atmosphere, and then the refs too. Like they do all this bullshit in season. Like they try to like a new rule will come in, and they'll try and reinforce it, and like refs just take over games, and no one fucking likes it, and like I don't understand why they do it. There's a small handful of refs I totally respect, and I know that they call a game right, and then you get to the playoffs, and I love it because they put their whistles more in their pocket, and I'm like, I respect that. Like let us play. If it really impedes the game, then throw a flag 100%. But like a little holding here from a corner, a little holding here from a lineman, a little cheap shot from a defensive player. Like, let the fucking dudes play. Like, this is playoff atmosphere. Everyone comes to watch football. Let us watch football.
Yeah.
So that's why I love playoff atmosphere.
Yeah.
It's and that's
and I assume that's what you're considering coming back from your injury to experience again. Like,
yeah, dude.
That's more what it is than anything because you've proved you can play at that. Or why? I mean, you tell me what makes you want to come back after. Obviously, we've talked about the general aching, but also you've had this crazy saga with your knee that's kept you from playing, and you're no longer going to be with the Packers, but you have said that you want to keep playing. And there's a lot of teams that need someone like you.
Yeah. I just hate I hate how like I was on like the top of my game. I was, I just came off my 5th All-Pro in a row. I just got paid to be the highest paid at my position, or just out of any offensive lineman in history. And then just like one practice, I just was taken from me, and I never was able to get back. So I hate the fact that this injury is trying to write my ending for me, and I've always been a big believer in like taking matters in your own hands and like grab the pen and paper, and I want to write the ending of my career. So I've just been dedicating. I thought it would be like the 9 to 12 month kind of recovery for an ACL into now like years of it, and I think I'm finally going to get to a point that I can go write my story, go out the way I want to go out, obviously go try and win a Super Bowl too. I got no problem to admit, like, I'm ring chasing. I'll be like LeBron. I'll go to Miami. I don't give a shit. Like,
Niners got a pretty good squad, dude.
No, but you know what I'm saying? Like, like LeBron went to Miami.
I'm just saying, if I was chasing, yeah.
But I mean, like, I just like.
No, I mean, you want to experience.
I just
want to
win
at the highest level.
Yeah,
you've cemented your legacy with the Packers. You have that, and I know you mentioned you have. I see you, whenever it is, years removed from the game. You've had some space from it at a tailgate, fucking deleting beers and people just going absolutely nuts.
That sounds like a great time.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah, I think for me, like from a fan perspective, I just need to come back. I think I need to like just step away from a little bit, let it recharge, because like I just don't know if I could just like show up. I almost would be like I've seen football from a different side. It's tough for me to like immediately go to fan.
Yeah.
Fanboy.
It's just too intense seeing it from your side to just like go and
like you say you go to shows and like you just look at it football a different way. Like I need to step away and not look at it from like the professional perspective of like how I analyze and how I look at a game, and like I want to be able to like just stare at the screen and like watch the ball on quarterback like every other person does.
Yeah.
And instead of me who just stares at the line and like looks at like the pre-snap reads and like just like my mind goes through all that and like how their stances are, and then I go, it's probably this play, they're probably running here. Oh, like what idiots? Like why do they do that? And then next thing you know, I'm like, okay, it's probably gonna be a good play because the blocking was good. Oh yeah, look, a 4-yard gain. Oh yeah, look, like, that's like I only watch like the line, and then like my eyes trail late to like whenever the ball's there.
The average football fan does not watch the line much. Is there something that you would tell? If a casual fan wanted to be a more scholarly football viewer, would you tell them to watch the line, and what would you tell them to watch for?
So first question, yes. I do think more advanced people who understand like offense tend to probably watch the line more, because that's 45% of your offense is on the offensive line.
Yeah.
5 out of 11. I don't know if that's actually 45%, but it sounded
that
legit.
Works for me.
Yeah. Sounded legit. And then, like, what to watch for? I mean, for me, like, how I diagnose it, I look at their stances, and obviously I know tackle play really well, so I can tell pretty, like, easily based off it's a run or pass based on certain stances. Who this?
I assume the defenses can tell too, then, right?
Ish.
Shouldn't they be able to? If you can, shouldn't a good defensive player be able to
depth perception for them, for one. Two, if defensive players were smart, they'd be playing offense. Just like if a corner could catch, he'd be playing wide receiver. You know what I'm saying?
So you think that the defense is the inferior unit?
No, superior bronze, inferior brain.
I see. The better athletes, but not as much
going
on.
When you get elite defensive players, guess what they have?
Both
brains. Yeah. And then I'm like, oh shit, this guy's a banshee, but it's like you get the green Hulk, but then you also get like the gray Hulk, like the gray Hulk who like reads books and also can like smash your face. I'm
right.
I'm like, yeah, fuck me. I don't like guys, because then I can't like mess with their mind at all. I love doing that. I also do love doing that. It's so much fun, especially with like a defensive player who thinks he's smart, but you like deep down he knows, and I know that he's an idiot. So I'm like, I'll start like purposely like setting up like keys and like messing with my stance and stuff, and he's like, oh, I know like what this plays. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm sure you do.
You're
buddy.
Playing chess.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So that's where like obviously I know certain, like when you play on defense, it's tough to like let's say defensive end, you're only looking at the tackle, so like you can see the tackle stance, whereas on camera, if I'm watching from a game, I can see all the lineman stance. So one stance may tell me, but another stance may say different. But if I can see all 5, I know for sure it's probably this, based on the ID, based on what the formation is, the likelihood of this play down and distance. I know, like, and then you think about
so
the play
that's
caller.
what you're doing. But imagine you're teaching me. What should I look at?
From a
Just
from
like
the
as a
offensive
fan,
line?
like I want to, like let's say I'm with my wife and I want her to think I know more about football than I do, considering the amount of hours that I've already sunk into it. And I wanna look smart and be like, see what the lineman's doing right there? This is gonna happen.
I would say the easy rule of thumb is, are you under center? Or are you in gun?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's just I can't say one thing because there's a lot of little things that
Right.
paint the big picture.
Right.
It's like Picasso painting a painting based off one stroke. Like he's not going to do that.
Right.
One. It's all the little strokes in play. But like, the first thing is like, is the quarterback under center? What's the ID? You probably listen to a couple of cues of what the center's ID, if you can hear them based on a certain word. You got a pretty good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Tackle stances give away, runner pass most of the time. Guards are in 2-point, 3-point can give away. Running backs really give away a lot based on their alignment because when they run the ball, it's a lot different than when they're passing the ball. Like if you're playing quarterback and we're in gun, you think, I'd say probably most people are like, oh, it's probably going to be a pass. That's why we're in gun. But if the running back if he's split out further from the quarterback and also more up towards the line of scrimmage, it's going to be more likely a pass versus the run. He's going to be closer and be ready for the handoff.
Mm-hmm. So just
And
what people are like kind of getting ready to do.
They get really like running back sometimes like they kind of blow the cover for people. And then like you just look at tight end side. So like if it's under center, like a standard like I formation under center and there's a tight end and they're primarily like a run blocking team. Like if it's like if it's say the Niners and it's Kittle's lined up, Juice is like all under center. I'm like, yeah, I'm probably going to run that way.
Yeah.
With them. And if you hear can, then I would assume that they're going to go to the weak side. Because they probably had a strong side formation because they have a good they have George that they like to block, and the only reason why they had to can was because they lost leverage, so they're gonna have to go the other way. So then that's what.
So is it a lot of like you develop an idea of what you think might be happening, but you're checking earlier in the game to see what the tells are,
like
sort of thing?
If I'm playing,
just for
or
me,
if
if
you're
I was
watching.
watching.
Yeah, like you have like I would say that there usually has to be like a checklist of like 10 things.
Yeah.
Then through the course of the game, are those 10 things, since you're not in those meetings, you're not listening to those coaches, so like, are those things correct? Yes? Okay, then now you know.
Yeah.
Like, because football players primarily, I would say, as a collective unit, aren't the smartest, so it's not like they're going to reinvent the playbook or reinvent the wheel at halftime.
Right.
It's like, hey, by Friday, we are locked in, and come hell or
you
high,
just can't have people make a fucking mistake.
come hell or high water, we're running everything. So like, we're showing our hands. So if you figured it out, like, guess what? We're just gonna just keep doing the same thing and hope to God that like we just are better than you, we can beat you. But if you know exactly what we're doing, like, yeah, you're not surprising or fooling anybody.
Yeah. Who if you had to pick a best friend from your playing days, who is it?
Oh,
I don't know why I said the playing
man.
days like it was the past, but I mean, from what you've had so far.
Oh man,
One might be rude.
I can't say one. I got too many buddies. I would feel bad.
Yeah. But I know you and Aaron have a very special relationship.
Yeah. No, me and Aaron, like.
What do you think of how the world takes in Aaron Rodgers? Because they can have kind of a rocky relationship.
I would say misunderstood, but then sometimes I'm like, no, you guys got it right. I would just say unique. Like, he's just a unique fellow. Like, he's got certain beliefs. He looks at things differently. He's a big like, I want to verify myself, and maybe that has to do with some trust issues too. But I respect the shit out of the fact that he's gonna always question everything. And like he's even said, he's like, question everything. Like, why not? And I think you look at some of the biggest high-powered people in the world. Like, I hear Elon all the time. He always says, like, question everything. Like, don't believe what your textbooks taught you or what history said. Like, you weren't there. Like, how do we know? Like, that's a good question. Like, how do we know these certain things happen? There's certain things that are irrefutable. Like, I find it hard to believe that dinosaurs aren't real.
Right.
Because of fossils. But on the same end, who's to say that those weren't planted? I don't know.
It's such a fascinating – this is a really fascinating topic because I do think that, not questioning things is to basically shut off your mind. It's to basically be like, I'm not going to be an active participant in understanding the world. And there have been so many examples where people have used propaganda outlets and whatever to force whatever they want people to believe.
1,000%.
But on the flip side, the ruthless need to question everything leads to a lot of wasted time and a lot of wasted energy on things that you end up not only being wrong about, but looking like a complete fucking idiot on.
Like one that I could say that I feel like I think most people can, regardless of what side you're on, like Alex Jones and Sandy Hook.
Yeah.
Like that one, again.
That one's tough.
Like he questioned it, he stood by it, all this stuff, and then now he owes like whatever billions of dollars.
Yeah. That's where I think it's like the ethic of question things is good.
Yes.
But if you're gonna fuck around, like you're gonna need to find out sometimes. And like
100%.
If you're playing in that sandbox is not the word that I would like to have used there, but it's what I ended up with. But like I tried to watch the documentary on the Alex Jones Sandy Hook thing because I was like,
there's a documentary on it?
Yeah, there's an HBO one, and I could only watch half of it because it's like,
was it so stupid?
No, it was so intense because it in order to present the point and make the correct point that like, hey, we can play these internet conspiracy games where everyone is like, hey, I found this and isn't that interesting? If we're going to deal in that reality, we also need to deal in the reality of
you have to show
the shit that happened.
The evidence.
The actual shit that happened. The actual families, hear from them while it's happening. It is fucking painful, dude, because it is where that Alex Jones has carried the banner for that. It's where that logic really fucking, when the rubber meets the road on that, it can be horrible because you're questioning stuff that like just has real life consequences.
And see, that's where I'm like, that I do love talking about this stuff. I think this gets really interesting because I'm like, 100%. There's just certain things that like, it's okay to question, but again, because I believe in like free will and freedom of speech, but. Right. Like you said, if the rubber meets the road, like you got to be prepared to like meet your maker at the same time. If you're going to say these certain things and if you're going to stand by it and like even if the evidence is like pretty substantial and irrefutable and you're still going to just pound your chest and get these radical people to believe in like whatever like narrative agenda propaganda you're going to push, like yeah, brother. If you don't want to do the time, don't do the crime. You know, simple as that. If you want to do the time, don't do the crime. But there's certain things.
So you've got some theories.
Yeah. But I mean, like, I do think there's certain things like to question. Like, I don't like the idea of, like, I have no problem standing on these certain like stances of like, I don't like the idea of believing everything the government tells me. I think too many times in history it's showed up that they ended up lying to us or like telling us enough but not the full truth, you know, like a white lie where like I'll give you just enough to stop asking me but not disclose everything, because frankly I don't think humanity or civilization can handle the entire truth, which I also do agree with why they would do that. But that also does piss me off because I still believe in the idea of like if we're, you know, a democracy and like we believe in freedom of speech and like the right to have all these certain rights, like give us everything. But it also does scare me because I sit there, I'm like, will you give us everything? I don't trust everyone to handle certain information.
Yeah.
So, but at the end of the day, I still like my core base fundamental, I always lean on, it doesn't matter, even if it could fracture civilization, then maybe we weren't meant to have civilization. Because I still think at the end of the day, we should know the truth. Like, I don't want to live in a lie. I've always said, I'd rather have a shitty lie, or I'd rather have a shitty truth than a harsh lie, or than a good lie. Like, tell me something terrible instead of sugarcoating it for me, because like I need to know reality, because that's what I want to live in. I don't want to live in fake reality. If I admitted that, I'm like, hey, I agree, I'll step out, give me the, like, go put a camera in front of my face and I want to go live in like an alternate reality, like, then let people admit and go do that. And I think we're starting to see people with filters of social media going down those certain paths. But like, you should, if someone wants to know the truth, they should have every right to, or they should have the choice to not want to hear the truth. But the default should be you get the truth.
It's so interesting.
I'm passionate about this.
Yeah, no, this is great. No, it's such an interesting thing because, like, on the one hand, I agree because there's so many examples of a government withholding the truth
Mm-hmm.
because it's within their interest to do so. And then over time it comes out that they should not have been withholding that. And it ended up harming a bunch of people. And who is to say, I mean, I don't think any of us are thrilled with any of the people representing us on either side of the aisle. I don't think we think these are the greatest individuals that walk among us.
Yeah,
And so the idea that they should be the ones who get to keep us from truth.
But it's not even just the president stuff. Like, it goes even deeper than that if you really want to get, like, freaky, which is, again, this is why I love Aaron. He, like, I will say even when I first met him, like, the thing I loved, he would show up to O-line dinner every week with the boys, eating pizza, eating deep fried food, drinking beers, and we would just have the crazy. Sometimes we would just shit talk our coaches and our game plan for the week because that's what we wanted to hear.
Yeah.
Sometimes we would just talk about harsh things. Sometimes we just make fun of each other the entire time. And then the other times that I loved was we talk politics, we talk conspiracy theories or theories that do come out later, and it would just be a fucking free for all. And the beauty of it is we all loved each other at the end of the day, and there were so many different viewpoints, and that's exactly how it should be. Like, I love walking out of there that there's no one 100% agrees with, like, there's some people agree with each other, but there's like 4 or 5 different views, but we also love each other, even though we had completely different views. And that was like seeing Aaron come in, and he would, like, sometimes he'd almost look like disheveled because, like, he had just been in like a 8 hour like rabbit hole for like the 10th day in a row, and he's just like, you guys can't handle like this shit, like, and like I would hear him, and when he would go to bat with people that would question him, like, he came with receipts.
Yeah.
And that's, again, he could have been a hell of a lawyer. And I actually think he was going to early in the day until he realized he was really good at football.
I love this idea of Aaron Rodgers just like holding this Socratic method with like a bunch of gigantic drunk linemen and he's just whipping people up into a frenzy. What were some of the things he was early on the alien train, I believe.
Yeah.
But just everything.
I would say this. What is your take on aliens?
The last thing that I'll say.
Don't pander to your audience either. I want to know.
No,
I want to know what
David,
your
there's not
take
much
is.
audience.
Oh no, this isn't a big podcast.
No.
What the fuck?
No, this is
waste of my time.
This is a very safe space. No, I think that with the whole government thing that we were talking about, I really think it all comes down to human nature and like what any of us would be doing if we were running an organization, whether that's right or wrong. I mean, it's like when you think about playing for the Packers, it's like the GM is not telling you all the conversations that he's having about you or with other teams about you, or like because the team would fall apart if all the information was freely available.
And see, but though I do agree 100% with that.
But the team also doesn't really care about you, which is the other true thing about the government is they'll move on without you. They'll make a decision to sacrifice you. They will look at it's a very utilitarian thing that does not necessarily have your best interests in mind.
I just play with me theoretically.
Yes.
This is highly controversial, and you may have to cut this out. That's the things that I like to just think about because, and it's not like you talk about presence. Like, I don't even think it is 100% presence. Like, who's to say that it's not the alphabet agencies that are actually controlling shit?
Right.
I just saw a fucking All In podcast with Donald Trump that was just on it. That was the latest episode. And he was saying that he was going to release the full JFK files. Somebody's going to release the full. And he, like, I would just say, listen to yourself. But it was kind of like alluding to, like, let's see how, like, he knows whatever the hell's in there.
Right.
And, like, let's see how, like, the nation, like, really reacts to all the information. And I was like, fuck. Like, that's the part
He's
that, like,
also,
that's the part that jazzed me up.
Yeah, I know. But in terms of questioning everything, that to me is a classic. Trump is saying that, and he is not going to do anything.
I don't get
because
again.
He'll say that because he wants to dangle.
Like, no, this isn't a vote thing. I'm just saying, just in general, like, there is more to the like. This is what is truthful. There is more to the JFK files, and that we should know.
Yeah.
Now, like, I'm not saying like, oh, we should vote for Trump because he's going to release it, and that's the main reason. Like, there's a lot more to a president than that. But to get what I'm saying more is the file. I want to know what's really in the file. I like, and again, this individualistic mindset of like, I know that I'm not going to go like strap on a bunch of guns and like go kick in a Walgreens and start like looting the place to load up because we're going to be in a civil unrest because of what's in this file. Like, no. I want to just hear it because I'm like, I want to know the truth about life. Like, what the hell happened?
It's been long enough that it's like that should be a matter of public record. We should know that. If it was,
but what if it's I
mean, what's the craziest thing? The CIA did it. That's what most people I feel like think at this point.
So,
I mean, most people is probably wrong. I'm thinking about people who like listen to podcasts online. I don't think the average person.
So let's say the CIA did it.
Yeah.
Then my next question to you would be, what else do you think they've done? So based off the little things we talked about before, how far-fetched are they now?
Right.
Now that we know that
and we
an agency killed our own president of the United States, if they could do that, who's to say the other two examples I just brought up, those aren't like...
Well, how about the fact that the CIA got rid of they installed like the Shahs of Iran. They got rid of Mohammad Mossadegh, who was a democratically elected leader, and the CIA. And this is, I literally read a book about it. Like, this is like public. This is known.
So
we went over there and fucking fucked all their shit up, and now installed people that are like, our problem.
Yeah, and also because they're like, hey, like now, like we kind of like.
Yeah,
we kind of own you. You're our puppet.
Here's my
like,
thing.
We'll put you in the power, but we still like there's strings.
Here's my thing, and this is why I think it's human nature. I bet if I was in the CIA, I'd be like, "Hey, I'm gonna need to fuck some shit up, and y'all need to shut your mouth and just trust I'm cooking. You gotta let me cook, bro." And I realize that's not a democracy, and that's not a good thing.
I think there's a very polite way of what that's exactly what they do.
Yeah.
But I think they say it in a very, very polite way.
Yeah,
because
they do.
letting you cook, I'll be your translator. I'm going to kill a lot of people. Yeah. I'm going to create certain world unrest.
Yeah.
But we're going to be fucking rich and powerful.
Kind of, yeah.
That's literally what that cooking in those agencies are. We
all do kind of slightly reap the benefits of it. We're like, we like being the powerful, and then we're like, oh my god,
I have no problem. I have no problem in like, who doesn't want to be powerful?
Right.
Like, who the hell is in life is like, I want to be a beta.
Right.
Besides sexually, certain people like they get off that.
It's called a power bottom.
Hey,
even that's powerful.
I don't kink shame.
No,
I love that.
Get loose.
That's great for you. But I'm just saying, like, who the hell, like, like, who doesn't want to be successful, good-looking, tall, like play football, play left tackle? No,
be a short comedian.
Yeah. But I mean, like, yeah, I think that's human nature. So I can just see like in like our like nation, I would just, for me, I personally would like to know.
Yeah.
And to not, or at least have the ability to find the information and know that it's legit.
Yeah.
Because I would rather hear the terrible thing about life and then let me make the decision. Like, there might be certain people be like, America's the worst place ever. I can never live here. I'm going to denounce my citizenship. Okay, let them leave.
Yeah.
Other people be like, fuck yeah, dude. We're fucking badasses. I'm riding. Cool. Great.
Yeah.
But, like, let someone make the choice. I don't like the whole idea of, like, I don't know. I'm also believe that I'm the type of person, like, I'd rather have you stab me in the chest than stab me in the back.
Yeah.
That's how I approach all this information I bring up to you. Like,
yep.
Stab me in the chest, even if it's shitty, then stab me in the back. Because, like, no one likes...
Yeah, no one likes that.
No one likes being
I'm getting that
back.
sense from you. Like, your main thing is, like, tell me the truth. I can handle it, but, like, let me have control. Even with what you're talking about with, like, why you want to come back and play. You're like, you don't write my story. I get to write my story. Is that kind of been your main motivation for most of your... I mean, obviously, first motivation is like, yeah, I want to fucking live out my dream and, like, make money. But, like, now it's just like, no, I want to do it my way.
I just want to win a Super Bowl, and I want to be able to... I don't want to think about my career and have this whole great career and then just be like, oh, yeah, and then it ended because I tore my ACL and my knee completely freaked out, and then I had like 5 surgeries. I'd rather be like, and then also, set a good example for my kids. Like, David, you already made it to the mountaintop. Everything was good. You could have easily walked away. No one would fucking bat an eye. Everyone would understand it. Like, why'd you do it? I'm like, because there's more to life than just the power and the money and all that. There's setting a good example for my kids of like, it doesn't matter where you get to. Like, you still work just as hard as you did day one as you do like the first day at work than you did the last day at work. Like, you should work this like just as hard.
It's a beautiful moment that your daughter walked out for that exact speech.
Yeah. Hopefully she heard me. Hopefully she understands that. I still come here, Fifi.
So, Beer Olympics. We have that tomorrow. We need to win. Okay.
Yes.
You are one of the great beer chuggers of all time. I'll plug in a video showing your prowess. I
Hit that.
am known as one of the worst beer chuggers of all time.
Stop.
I'm good at all the games, but chugging I'm not good at.
Wait, really?
So what is the secret?
How bad is bad? Like, what are we
I'll tell
talking?
you, I can't open the throat. I can suck it with desire.
So you're straight.
I can't, but you're not.
No.
Yeah.
I went to college. Wasn't that what college is for?
Well, how do you do literally just pour it down your throat?
So here's the thing. I'm a high effort guy. I really don't. I just swallow
You
really
just
quick.
go hard.
Like my throat just swallowing very quick.
Okay.
I will say, last year, I thought I was gonna come in just hot shit chugging.
Yeah.
This fucking dude Taylor,
He
he's
can
actually
just-
gay.
Yeah.
He's actually gay.
He just opens the
Yeah,
throat. and
I am pseudo gay. Like
Yeah.
I'm like, are you nervous? I'll play with you, but I'm always one pullback. Like
Yes,
I
of
I
course.
won't actually hit that point. This dude will.
I'll play with
This
you.
dude will hawk tui all over
Yeah.
you. He will gluck 3000. My God,
God
he is
damn.
lucky he's straight because that dude would be a great gay dude.
God.
Okay, so besides his beautiful eyes and awesome mustache and
Yeah.
the fact that he's 6'6" and a great athlete, all this stuff,
Yeah,
great
built like
tattoos.
built like a village person.
Yeah. But dude, I was like, he reminded me how like what you see like videos of people just like it just like pours and just gone.
Yeah.
And I think he beat me. I think he cut my time in half
That
of
is
what we were
fucking
chugging.
crazy.
Yeah, so you're gonna see that tomorrow,
Yeah.
because I'm assuming that we're gonna have to do some sort of chugging event. But the good thing is that I think it just seeded us. I don't know.
I watched last year's to see what I was looking
Yeah.
at, and it's really just one pure chug. You have the chug part of beer ball, but I'm good at
Yeah.
that. I love beer ball. That's one of my
Okay,
favorites because a baseball player, you throw it.
Yeah,
you're
but can you
catching,
chug the
fielding.
beer though?
I can chug the beer. I was hoping maybe you'd have some tips, but it's just straight desire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Dude, I mean,
You
like,
just got hawk tui on
yeah,
that.
I just hawk tui on it. I was just a guy in college. I don't know. I just would just try and see how quickly I can chug stuff, and I wanted to be cool, so I would just swallow it really quick, and that's it. Like, I don't open the throat or anything. It's just you either can deal with all the suds and can go quick or not.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I guess like
It's just desire. I'm not going to allow anyone to write my story.
yeah. You can see,
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to fucking battle.
I like that.
Now, as an athlete, do you feel like
I'm gonna be very-
alcohol is the how often do you actually like get after it? Almost never, right?
No, like I'll be honest. I don't. I'm not even a big fan of beer.
Really? Because it was Wisconsin and you're at a fucking Bucks game, you're like, I'm gonna give the people what they want.
Like, who the fuck chugs anything but beer?
Well, yeah,
and-
you can't.
You know what I'm saying?
Chugging
Like,
other things makes you an alcoholic.
Who looks cool if I'm like just fucking gonna go pound a White Claw?
Spritzer,
It's like,
yeah.
you're a fucking loser. Oh, like, and if I chug like a mixed drink, like, oh, like okay, Dolly, like
Yeah.
chill out. But like you chug a beer, it's like
Yeah. So you don't. But there are
fucking
stories.
man.
Of some players rage after games, right? In my experience, whenever I would visit you in Green Bay, it was always like it's recovery time. It's straight to sleep. It's
well, I took it
doing-
like my fucking job.
Yeah.
And but I mean, like, yeah, I had plenty of buddies that, and there were a couple times I would say like after games I gotta have a couple beers. I was just exhausted, and that was the environment that I came into, and that's what showed me what I should do as a pro. And I know plenty of other guys like in New York, they would have a come winter law like
They have a
like
table.
winter loss.
somewhere.
They have a table and
Yeah.
a time set up, bottles all set up, and they're gonna go rage. I don't think many people. I don't even know if there's even a place to get bottles and table service
It's true, Green Bay.
in Green Bay.
The first time
Yeah.
I came, we tried to go to a bar and it just like wasn't happening, and that was basically it. Like,
I'm
that
gonna
was
be
the whole
honest. I
experience.
probably went out in Green Bay. I could probably count. I know for a fact I can count on my hands and feet
Yeah.
the amount of times I've actually been out in Green Bay.
So even living in Nashville, you're not like, hey, let's go mix it up. I guess you're a dad now.
Fucking
You're-
Dad, I got a wife. Like,
Yeah.
what am I to go out and do what?
I
mean,
got a
now,
wife. Well, we get fucked up all the time. We like it.
kid. I got a
Yeah,
kid. Though.
the kid.
But I will say, there's a couple times it's just like happens randomly. And I think like when we get a babysitter and me and Frank go out, there's a couple times that we end up tying one off. But then it's terrible if we both were to, because come hell or high water, that baby's gonna be crying at like 7:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
It doesn't care about your hangover.
Yeah.
It doesn't care about how lack of sleep you had. Like and I want to be a good present father. I don't want to be a hungover. Just like I feel terrible. Like so, I really don't do that. And again, to each his own. I'm not judging any other dad. Like you go do you, man. Like just be there for your kid. I don't care how you are, just be there.
Yeah.
But there's some nights like Frankie's like, I'm gonna stay back, like don't worry, and then I go out with like my buddies and my brothers, and we'll get dinner, get a drink, get a couple drinks.
Yeah.
You know, have maybe a little bit other fun.
Yeah.
And then next thing I know, I'm like, fuck. And then the worst part is I'll come home after having a great night, and then I'll get the elbow in the morning, and it's like, oh, you partied? So you're going to go get your daughter? I'm like, fuck me.
God
But then at least I know, like, she'll look at me and just, like, in disgust, just like, you just piece of shit.
Yeah.
But she'll at least come take over, but she still wants me to suffer.
Yeah.
Which I totally respect.
You respect that.
I respect
Yeah.
the shit. If I was in her shoes, I would do it to her. The only difference is if she said fuck off, I would still go get my daughter.
Yeah.
But when she elbows me, if I told her to go fuck off, that wouldn't end like that. I would be in a lot more trouble.
Does having a kid make it harder to deal with like all the effort that you have to put into a regular season, or is it kind of helpful just because it's clarifying? Like you're like everything is about just what is a priority, and there's no time for anything else.
Both. Like, I did a lot. I like to think I was very professional about how I've gone about my process through my entire career, because I understand you only got one shot in the NFL. It's not like I can go to like the NFL, playing it, leave for a little bit, come back. Like, you're young once.
Right.
You can only you have this short window. But like having a kid, I think the biggest difference was it helped me understand what actually was important. And I like to think I almost was like at times doing too much. I'll go to so many people and do so much stuff. I'm like, I don't really need to do this. But in my mind before, I was like, all I got is time.
Yeah.
And I'd be driving home and be like, I'm not going to go. I'm not going to go.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go to the chiropractor. I don't need to. And then my mind, like, I would have this, like, I have a very, like, loud inner voice, and it's like, you fucking piece of shit. You're really not going to go? You're going to go at home and what, turn on your Xbox, go play Fortnite with your buddies, not take your job seriously? Like, anyone, it's easy to do that. You know what's hard? Is making that fucking left and this light coming up, going in to fucking Dr. Kurt Drager, getting your back cracked and sitting underneath like a red light laser for 20 minutes. It's going to take about 45, 50.
You have a football coach that lives in your head.
Dude, it's terrible. I sit there, I'm like, nope, I'm going to go home. I want to be lazy. That's all I want to do. And then I end up kicking myself in the ass. I'd make that left turn, coming home from work every day. But then I realized once I had my daughter, I'm like, you find out, like, you just become a lot more efficient. And then you're like, okay, I really don't need this certain stuff. Which,
right.
like I said, I don't really
It's
think
just
I did.
clarifying. Yeah.
I don't think I really needed to, but I'm like, what's better with my time? Doing that or sitting in a chair, you know, just talking shit, dropping in with the boys, trying to catch a dub.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny that you clearly have that football coach in your head. I noticed that whenever I opened, the first time I ever opened for Shane Gillis, he got off stage and he was just like, we need to be fucking better at comedy. And I was like, I've never seen a comedian do that to himself. And then it made sense to me. He was like a fucking lineman, you know, like growing up.
I love it.
Football
Yes,
coach
dude.
In his head that just fucking screams at him. And he's just like, we need to be fucking better. Like, he was like pissed. I saw him the next day. I'm like, how you doing? He's like, I've been mad all day. Like, about he crushed, by the way, in front of like a sold out show. But he was just like, that's not it. Like, that's not fucking good enough.
Yes.
And that is very rare in the arts. Well, not in the arts, but in comedy.
Yeah. No, I could see that.
Yeah. I guess, well, I don't know. It's kind of rare, but there are a lot of times where I'll have a good set to other people's opinion, and then I'll just be like, ugh.
Yeah.
I fucking hated that. Like,
Yeah.
that sucked.
I like people that are very critical of themselves, especially at the professional. I think you need to be. I think
That's how you get better.
Again,
no one else is like doing it for you. Like even when you have a coach, no one can really have the distaste for whatever mistake you made to make it right.
Also, crazy concept. Truth. You see what you're doing? Like, the harsher you are with yourself, you're also facing the actual truth. I don't want to sit there, listen to a couple people, just be like, oh, you did so well. It's like, no, it's easy to say I did good. Like, how did I really fucking do? Like, watch yourself dissect and be like, because there's games, like, my family, my brothers played in the league. Like, dude, you did so fucking well. Oh, my God, this, that, and the other. And I just watch film like, no, look at that. It's my stance. I could have held this block longer. I could have given, like, Aaron protection. I could have, like, made the short. I could have widened the corner out extra half a yard and could have potentially, like, took away this feeling of a hurry that wasn't, like, even classified. But, like, those little things, like, that's what makes you fucking great. And it's also that's the truth. Because, like, I could sit there and just have someone be like, I don't really want to coach him. Like, he's so good. Like, I don't want to fuck with his feelings. I'm like, no, like, coach me. You can tell me I'm a piece of shit. I can tell you also go fuck off.
Yeah.
But, like, again, like, rubber meets the road, pal. Like,
Right.
it depends on what you're going to say and how you're going to deal with it. But I do love when people are critical of themselves, especially in anything they do, because it shows that they want to be a master of their craft. They're willing to, like, be coached or hear harsh truths that are, like, good. Because a lot of people, like, either breaks them or it's what makes them. Because, like, anyone can hear the good graces and, like, being applauded. Not everyone can hear boos.
Yeah.
Not everyone can come back to that show after hearing a boo, but everyone can come back to a show hearing a clap. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's why I really enjoy people that can fucking, like even I do this with the rookies. Here's my little plan. I always do with them. Anytime I get a rookie lineman or anyone around us that works with us, the first thing I do for, like, a good 2 weeks is I fuck with them a lot. And you're like, oh, that's what everyone is. Like, no. Like, in walkthroughs, I'll not shut the fuck up. I'll constantly talk to them. And then I had one of our rookies look at me, Elton, and he goes, dude, can you stop fucking talking to me? I need to pay attention. And then I looked him in the face. I'm like, if you can't focus with me just talking to you and hearing this play, how are you supposed to fucking handle 80,000 fans screaming? And when you can barely hear Aaron, you have to read his lips, and you only have 25 seconds to figure it out. If you can't deal with this walkthrough and me just talking to you and still figuring out what the hell's going on, not to mention the millions of fans watching on camera that you know are in your mind, you're constantly thinking about it, but you don't want to admit it, then what? And then you take a step, you're like,
then they start getting it. Yeah.
You kind of, like, I either see you either like, I don't fucking care, stop fucking talking to me, or you're like, no, this guy isn't a fucking complete lunatic. He's not, like, he actually, like.
So that's the kind of shit that
like,
people are talking about when they're like, he's a veteran presence, you want to have him around.
There's
it's
a method
those
to my
little
madness,
tricks
like,
where you're like, I am trying to fucking get through to these guys early.
Yeah.
And in practice before a game hits.
I want to cream rises to the top. I find out pretty early, and I dealt with it, and I got harsher and harsher the older I got, because I feel like I got less time to fucking. I ain't got time to see you develop. Like, you're either going to be something or not.
Right.
But I always like to kind of see, and I could figure out early, like, okay, this guy I have to be easier with. He crumbles easy, so I can't push him too hard. But I still want him to grow, but I can't. You put too much pressure, you're going to crack an egg. Put the product, I need to put how much pressure can I give each person. And then obviously the best ones I've noticed is I can put them as much pressure. Sometimes they freak out. I've had rookies like look at me like, and they tell me like, I don't like you, and they want to punch me. Yeah, they won't, but they said some harsh things and say that. But that also, the ones that stick around and keep coming back and can deal with that pressure, I've also seen them make tens of millions of dollars, and I've been nothing but fucking, like, I'm honored, I'm proud, I'm ecstatic for them, because I'm like, you fucking earned it. And it's those things. It's not just like on Sunday. You learn it through the week, through the month, through the year. Yeah. Like, to be a fucking pro, you've been around some of the fucking best in the biz, dude. You get it.
Yeah, it's interesting that you have such a kind of an obsession with truth, because I also have it on good authority that growing up you did win the award for biggest fake crier.
Yeah, and I know it's really easy. To fucking lie to people.
Were you just a nutcase as a kid?
Nah, as a fucking kid, I was the youngest of four.
Yeah.
The shit beat out of me all the time. I had to learn how to fake cry. Yeah. I needed to get attention from my parents.
Yeah, did you just will yourself into being this large by being the youngest of four boys?
I think my body had to adapt to the amount of, like, shit that got beat out of me. So, like, my body just kept getting, like, stronger and bigger because it had to protect itself.
Yeah.
And then they created a monster. And, like, it's funny, like, a couple people were like, did you ever like get back at your brothers all the times they beat the shit out of you? I'm like, I probably should have. Like, they went from hating me and beating me up to, like, we just became friends. Like, when they realized, like, oh fuck, this guy's a monster. and then I'm always just super chill. I'm like, oh, I finally got accepted. Like, oh, this is cool. Yeah. Like, deep down, like, in my mind, I'm like, I know.
It is funny that you're the youngest, because it's just because of what you do. Your life is just so different. Like, you're a year younger than me, but, like, in football years, I'm like a good player on a college team. You know what I mean? Like, I haven't had any of this, and you're looking at, like, wrapping it up here soon.
Yeah.
Which I feel like, do you feel like it's had to actually, like, age you and mature you faster? Like, I see all athletes, like, you guys are all having kids in your, like, late 20s.
Yeah.
Because you're just like, no, this is the window to do it.
Well,
I'm out here 33 freezing eggs.
Well, think about this. So we come into a shit ton of money. Yeah. So, like, I got a check for $200 and my sign after tax, which fucking sucked. I finally realized what taxes were.
Yeah.
I got a check for $293,000 or $90,000 as a 21-year-old, and I was like, holy fucking shit.
Yeah.
And then I played my first football game against the Niners. Back when they had like Justin Smith, Alden Smith, all the fucking boys, the Navarro Bowman, Patrick Willis, Golson, Hittner, dude, it was a fucking,
dude.
it was
that is a squad.
sick. And I got a check for like $12,000, and I was like, so I just got a check for $293,000, and then I get to play a game that I've played my whole life, and it's a game at the end of the day, and you're paying me $12,000 right now, per week, to do this, and I'm 21 years old, Fuck me.
Probably
but
not as achy back then either.
No, fuck no.
Yeah.
I mean, I still hurt, but the only difference was like come Tuesday, I was like
I'm good.
I was a spring chicken. I was ready to go again. But it did financially, like you just go through life so much quicker. Like, so why we have kids, I think because we're so financially stable, we can take on having that financial stress. So I think, that's why having kids early.
Yeah.
And getting married, or like you can take on someone else's life.
And you're dealing with so much shit, even from a young age. I mean, like even, you're probably kids in high school are doing fucking press interviews and shit, and having to like,
and they're coming into money now too. So, but I think that, and then at least for me, like I came into a lot of money early on, and I thankfully came from a good family, and my parents like kind of educated me around finances enough to know like. Just because I got a check for $209,000, I'm like, that was a lot personally, but I'm like, if you want a house and to do it right, this definitely isn't enough. So like, got to find people, got to put it away, got to earn interest, got to have your money like be compounded and like have it work for you. So like that's where like my mind went and like helped kind of set me up like down the road. So like I've been in a position financially that, one, I understand and I'm grateful for that most people may not even hit in their entire lifetime. But also, the people who do, they're a lot older.
Yeah.
So I've had to learn what to do with that money at 25 to 30 years old, which certain people don't get unless when they hit it big and they do everything right when they're 70 years old.
Yeah.
So I think it's like that part. And there's growing pains for sure. But I do love seeing, I always tried helping out the other guys. I'd see them buy the nice car and have the flashy backpack and brand name this and brand name that. And I was just like, dude, like, that ain't it. But I remember it. I remember this one story. This one guy, he had a Charger. He had like Louis Vuitton backpack, and like it was like he'd been in the league now for a few years, and then he finally figured it out. He's like, this isn't it. And I saw him. He saw this young kid who's like looking at. He wanted to get a Charger. He wanted to get like that Louis Vuitton backpack. He goes, "I'll sell you mine," and he sold his backpack to him. He sold his car to him. Actually, no, he didn't sell his car to him. He sold the backpack to him. He tried to sell the car to him. The other kid didn't. The young, like rookie or second year guy didn't want it because he's like, I need a brand new one, and bought a brand new one. And he's like, what are you doing? Yeah, it's like I got a sick one, exactly what you want, all decked up. I'm like, I love seeing that, and I always remember that. I'm like, he like wised up and understood. It's not just this.
It's not just having the shit. It's having money that's going to work for you when you can't work anymore.
No,
now on the topic of money. On the topic of
money,
yes,
I do have a lot.
Yeah, well, no, that's actually that is exactly what I think I saw you on a private jet, and that was cool. So, why, according to my sources, are you unwilling to buy or rent any movie or pay for a single pay-per-view at your house?
Who told you that? Who told you that? Okay, this is actually great. So I'm okay. I'm gonna say this. I'm a big principle-based guy.
Okay.
Okay.
No,
you're like talk to some of this whole. This is just how I live life. I'm a big principle-based guy. Before I met my wife, like I didn't have like streaming wasn't. It kind of was starting to come around. I still had like kind of cable. But my wife came around. We ended up having. Right now, I'll just tell you what we do have. We have Hulu, Amazon Prime, Disney, Peacock, Netflix, Apple TV. I got 6 streaming platforms that I currently pay for. You can't find a fucking movie to watch on 6 streaming platforms. I gotta pay $19.99 to buy or $4.99 to rent. I don't give a fuck, and I know I can fucking pay for it, and I'll be okay, and it's not gonna change my life. It's just and I've said this. It's 100% principle. I've had my brother come over to watch a fight. I haven't been that guy that really like been that into like the UFC fights or boxing fights. Cause I'm like, I don't know, like I've never like paying for them. So he would get so pissed. I'm like, I'm not paying for it. Like I can literally just, as soon as the fight's over, I just go on X. I could actually watch it. I get like 5 minutes
has people
late.
over their house to watch tweets of a fight.
Yeah, I mean, so like I hit a point where I literally made my brother. He wanted to watch a fight, so I'm like, you pay me $25, and I'll fucking order this thing for you. And he fucking had to pay me $25 in cash, and he was so fucking mad about it. But I'm like, that's just like what I do. So like on special occasions, actually, I have to say this, I have a mother-in-law. When my wife wasn't in town, trying to earn some brownie points. I ordered a movie with her.
Wow, wow, that was extra special.
It was actually The Rock.
Oh, okay.
OG Nick Cage. I'm forgetting the other actor. What you've seen the movie, right? Have you?
I don't think so.
You haven't seen the movie?
I've seen no movies.
For
some
my
reason,
goodness.
I'm like cinematically illiterate. So
Sean Connery, that's his fucking name.
Oh, sorry. When you said The Rock, I was envisioning Dwayne The Rock Johnson, and I was like,
I'm not winning brownie points with that.
I didn't think so, but I was gonna let you live your fucking life.
No,
dude.
no,
I was
no.
pretty sure that's in the dregs of Peacock. It is called The Rock, the Alcatraz. Yeah.
So I tried.
Yes.
I tried to find it on my 6 streaming.
Have it.
No,
Yeah.
they didn't have it. So I sat there. I'm like, we had been talking about. I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm not
Like, don't fucking tell anyone. You're
Yeah.
like, please cut that from the pod.
No, seriously, can you cut this? Can you cut this part from the pod too?
So
My
on
wife's gonna
principle,
kill me.
obviously you're successfully married now. What was the principle of making women sleep in the other room?
You're the worst.
You don't have to defend that one.
No, I'm good.
I think I've taken enough of your time, David. Thank you so much.
Dude, you're the fucking man. That is fucking epic.
Let's dominate the beer games tomorrow. Anything you want to plug?
Yeah. Shout out Gripple. Go check them out. The handles are Gripple_duck. It's a Kickstarter.
Yeah, we'll be wearing the
'em.
jerseys tomorrow.
We're sponsored by them. It's pretty much a sports social media platform meets gaming. These game developers are just like changing up they're changing up the sports viewing experience and how people consume social media and pretty much making it a game while you're actually doing it. It's fucking sick.
So you'll be watching a game and then you can bet on it or talk. How does it work?
Dude, you're
all that shit.
So like imagine like I have like a character. Do you ever play Fortnite? Are you a video game guy or no?
I'm not a huge video game guy.
So
More like Mario Kart than a Fortnite guy. But
so nowadays people love like growing their characters and like kind of World of Warcraft ish stuff, and like Fortnite like dancing and emoting on people.
Yeah.
But like you and I can bet on like a sports game. I think something's gonna happen. I think they're gonna score this driver. I think they're gonna win.
Yeah.
And I can level up my character. I can get new like what they call emotes.
That's funny. You don't totally have to lose all of your money betting on
No.
shit. You can just actually
But
game like Social Cloud.
Yeah, for social cloud, and then what I can literally do is I can like bet like, hey, I get to shave like your person's like hair so they're bald for the
that's
week.
Great.
Like we can wager like outfits, or I can be like, if I win, you have to wear a pink tutu, or since they're game developers, they're fucking awesome. It's like, hey, I'm gonna do a Mortal Kombat move, so every single time that like let's say I have Justin Jefferson in my fantasy league, every single time he scores points in our group chat, my avatar will literally go over to your guy, stab him in the throat, rip out his fucking his spine, and then like fucking kick your head up in the air, and then have a fatality, and then bow to the crowd, and then all the other like buddies in our group chat, they can do like little emotes where they can throw like loser signs, or they can dance on your body while you're dead for a couple seconds. Like it's sick.
Oh, that's sick.
And then like if you leave, it's cool because like let's say like you leave the chat, like it'll put your guy like on the bench, like it'll like do like fun stuff. So it's very interactive. So instead of sending like an emoji being like loser, like you have your avatar and it'll animate whatever the hell you want. And there's like a social game betting aspect where you can grow your character, do much by leveling up better dance moves. Your guy looks better. Like my guy can have like swollen nuts, and I can walk around carrying nuts like in South Park. Like that's what I'm saying. These guys are like wilding out, and it's fucking sick. And like they've taken this whole new grasp on like how people are obsessed with gaming nowadays, especially the younger generation, and then the social media side, and like trying to up like re-up this idea of sports fandom, because right now, like, sports is, from the fan side, there hasn't been like anything new in so long. So
Right.
That's their whole new initiative.
I love it. Check it out. Thank you, Dave. Let's get a dub tomorrow.
Let's go, brother.
There it is, folks. That's the interview with David Bakhtiari. Thanks so much to David. Make sure to see me live, joeyavery.com/live. Tons of great shows coming up. San Diego's going to be a doozy. Edmonton, I'm wearing the shirt. I'm coming to you. Yes, Vancouver. Yes, Chicago. Yes, Vegas. Is Nashville on the way again? Maybe, folks. We have a lot of new ones coming. So make sure to fill out the Tell Me Where to Perform list if you want to join the mailing list so you can be up to date. But that's enough ads for right now because, folks, it is debate night. It is debate night. We have a special Joey Show betting odds with our correspondent live in Washington, D.C. Matt Chrzanowski, how are you doing out there?
Hey, Joey, glad to be here.
Now, what have you been hearing about the candidates thus far?
I've spoken with members from both parties, and it seems that each of the candidates has received a drug cocktail that would make Hunter Biden jealous. Needless to say, they're ready to debate.
That's exciting stuff, Matt. And my understanding is that you have a little inside scoop on the ground in D.C. about what sorts of betting action gamblers are looking at for tonight's debate. Fill us in.
Joey, we have a lot of great action today on the table. At plus 400, we have Trump slipping the moderators a 100 and asking not to talk about January 6th. And at plus 500, we have Biden slipping them a 20 and asking for 2 scoops of mint chocolate chip. At plus 10,000, one of them is going to die. And at plus 500, Biden will be falling out of the harness that keeps him upright. At plus 15,000, we have both of them dying. At minus 150, Biden is going to use an old-time name reference we haven't heard since the Civil War. And at minus 200, he's going to bring up his dead family. At minus 500, the safest lock of the day, Trump is going to bring up Hunter Biden's drug problem. And at plus 550, Hunter Biden is going to hump the legs of one of the moderators.
Well, Matt, that's exciting stuff. And in the spirit of tonight's debate, I'll make sure that when I'm watching, I am on stimulants and wearing an adult diaper.
Closest you can get to wearing a jersey from your favorite player.
All right, there it is. That's the episode for this week. Thank you so much to our D.C. correspondent, Matt Chrzanowski, and, of course, David Bakhtiari and everyone on Bustin' with the Boys, the whole team that put together an incredible Beer Olympics. That's going to be fun. The content coming out of that is going to be insane. Shit was talked, okay? And I'm sure I said some very, 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 very spicy things on camera and put down some pretty embarrassing chug numbers. But we did compete. We got second. And at the end of the day, it's all love, and it's all about crushing a bunch of beers with the fellas. What a lovely time to be alive. What a lovely time to be in Nashville. What a lovely time to please like and subscribe if you're listening on YouTube, and subscribe to the audio. The audio numbers, that's where you really get paid. And what do we make? $. So make sure you're liking, commenting, subscribing across the board, and we'll see you next week. This has been The Joey Show.
Thank God I have a podcast.